In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure active passive high availability on Palo Alto firewalls. So if your primary firewall fails, traffic automatically fails over to the secondary with minimal disruption. This is a core requirement in real enterprise environments. And today, we're going to build it step by step. My name is Travis Johnson. I'm a network security engineer specializing in Palo Alto firewalls, enterprise security operations, and real-world lab simulations aligned to production environments. Everything in this lab mirrors how HA is actually deployed in real networks. So in this video, we're going to cover HA topology and design, high availability interfaces and control data links, step-by-step active passive configuration, synchronization between firewalls, and failover testing and validation. Let's walk through the topology. We have two Palo Alto firewalls running version 11.2.5. I went ahead and pre-configured the links just for the ease of um, creating this video. So we have here, this is essentially our internet zone going out. It's egress traffic, it's ingress traffic. Our inside zone, we have our internal IPs um, listed here. Data link, we have two data link um, interfaces. Uh, One is a primary data link and the other one is a backup. And it's the same with the control link. One's a primary control link and the other is a backup control link. So um, between these two firewalls, we have these dedicated links, 1.1.1.1 and for the control link and 1.1.1.2 for the backup control link. Also 2.2.2.1 for the data link, 2.2.2.2 for the backup. So HA1 is used for control plane communication and synchronization. HA2 is used for session synchronization and data flowing, data forwarding during failover. So um, an easy way to kind of think about this is in an active passive HA, one firewall is active, handling all the traffic. The other is passive, waiting and sync. So the other firewall is passive and it's waiting and it's synchronized. If the active firewall fails, the passive firewall takes over automatically. Okay. So step one, before configuring HA, both firewalls must be set up individually. So that includes your interfaces, your zones, your IP addresses, and basic connectivity. At this stage, both firewalls should work independently. So if you see here, I pre-configured um, the interfaces 1.1, 1.2. You'll also see a policy, a NAT policy, and a security policy that will allow me to ping out to the internet. So basic connectivity is set up so far. So now we're going to enable HA on both firewalls. So let's jump into it. So first things first, we're going to go into HA pair settings, setup, enable HA. Notice that you have group IDs 1 to 63. We're just going to select group 1. The groups also have to match on both firewalls. I'm going to describe this as the active firewall. Um, Mode is going to be active passive. We're going to enable config sync. And our peer HA1 IP address is going to be 1.1.1.2, which is right here. Okay. So it's asking for the peer address, and that's this address right here, 1.1.1.2. And a backup link it's asking for is going to be 2.2.2.2. Okay. So 2.2.2.2. Okay. Next, we're going to go to active passive settings. We're going to select, um, and let me take a step back. So essentially, um, once we've configured the control link, um, this link is responsible for the configuration and sync and heartbeat monitoring. Okay. Again, HA HA one is just responsible for the control link. So here we're going to go to active passive settings. We're going to keep the passive link state shut down because this you set it to auto when you want it to participate in the networking. So it's a setting that essentially um, determines the passive firewall prototypes and networking. So leaving it off is leaving it shut down is the most common setting. But if we wanted to turn that on to auto mode, we could do that. That's just more for advanced setups. So election setting, device priority, we're going to make this 0 to lower the priority. It's telling the firewall that you are indeed going to be the active firewall. So, okay. So we're going to enable preemptive, and preemptive sets the firewall so that if one firewall, if let's just say firewall one goes down, active firewall goes down, the secondary firewall will become the active firewall, right? But once the active firewall comes back up, preemptive will allow the active firewall number one, to become active again without manually having to do it. So instead of the secondary firewall staying as the active firewall and firewall number one becoming secondary, it'll automatically reset itself back to become the active firewall. And we'll see this at the end when we test this out. So um, heartbeat backup is just a backup communications path between HA firewalls. Um, Essentially, if it fails, uh, heartbeat backup is sending out pings, and if it fails, um, the firewall um, in some settings will take over via the management plane versus the data plane. So we're just essentially going to lower the device priority, select preemptive, and click OK. Okay. Now, HA communications. This is our control link. So again, according to our topology, HA1, HA1 is a backup, HA2, HA2 is a backup. So it's HA1 that we're going to configure here. That's going to be 1.3. Oops. No, I forgot, guys. I forgot to configure. So we're going to do HA1 control link. Okay. Layer 3. Add to the virtual router. Security zone. Um, oops. HA. Yep, there we go. Copy this. Go here. I'm going to do a backup control link. HA, don't forget to select the correct interface type. Click OK. We're going to do the same thing for 5. This is going to be HA2 data link. Get to select the correct type. And last one is going to be 6 backup data link. Okay, select OK. Now when we go back over to our HA settings. It's going to be 1.3. You'll notice that the interfaces are populated. This is going to be, now we're going to configure this interface address, which is 1111. 1.1.1.1, 255.255.255.0. We don't have to configure our gateway because these IP addresses, the HA link IP addresses, are not in separate subnets. Okay, so select 1. The backup is going to be 1.4. Okay, and that IP address is going to be 2's. So 2.2.2.1, 255, 255, 255.0. Okay, those are the control link settings. And now we're going to configure the HA to data link settings. Okay, so we're going to go here. That's 5. And guys, we don't have to define the interfaces here because we did that earlier in the general settings. So here, I like to just leave it as just the interface. Click OK. And here, I'm going to do the same thing. Just select the interface. Click OK. Link path monitoring. We can create link groups that will we'll do control link group, and we'll add the control links to this group. Essentially, what this is going to say, this is saying is enable the link path group. If any one of these interfaces fails, we'll get an alert. We could select all, and it would set a condition to where one of the links could fail, but if the other one was up, we wouldn't get alert. So all would have to fail. So any, which is either one or all, both would have to fail. Okay. So we're also going to do the same thing for the data link group. We're going to do 5, 36. Okay. Now we're also going to, path monitoring is enabled. So path monitoring is essentially a monitor that we can define. So let me take a step back. Link is for the actual interface. Path monitor is for the routing portion. So so when we configure a path group, we're saying, do I have a route to, let's say, Google, and keep an eye on that path, or you could, choose a service route or whatever. But essentially, this is monitoring the ability to reach outside, to route traffic outside to a particular destination that we define. Okay, so we're going to click OK. We're going to say Google path. Okay, and let's just say the destination IP is 8.8.8.8. Add that, and we could add a number of IPs. It's the same condition. It's the same condition. If I added multiples here, if any of those paths were down, it would notify me, or all would have to be down for it to notify me. So that's our path monitor group. We don't have to configure that, but I just like to. And go back. We'll double check some of our settings. And that should be it. So we should be able to click commit here. And what I like to do is I like to add the HA widget to the dashboard so that once both firewalls are enabled, we can see the status of our config. So next, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go to device. We're going to go to HA. general, we'll enable HA. Remember, it has to be the same group as firewall 1. Group ID is 1, so this has to mirror the same group ID. This is going to be the passive firewall. Okay. What's the peer address? The peer address is going to be 1.1.1.1 and 2.2. Because what we're configuring is the peer addresses. We're on this firewall, firewall 2, and now we're configuring our peer. Okay, so our peer is going to be HA1 is going to be 1.1.1.1, and the backup is going to be 2.2.2.2.1. Okay, and this is why, guys, in this portion we didn't have to specify uh, the peers because once you add these interfaces, the firewall knows what to do with the traffic. So again, leak state, we're going to leave that shut down. Priority, we're going to leave it as 100. The priority here is 0, so this is going to take priority over this one. Preemptive, you have to select because we selected preemptive here. No heartbeat backup, no heartbeat backup, recommended setting. Okay. HA config. Let's go to control link. Oops, didn't configure the interfaces here. Then I configure the default route just to make sure. Yeah, I did. Okay. So we're going to go to interfaces. We're going to go to base 1. We're going to do HA, data. I like to be consistent in my naming. Here we go. So G1, HA, good. The same thing here. This is going to be a backup link. Backup link. I like to add these descriptions. Makes it easier to understand what's going on with these links. So we're going to do the same thing here, but this is going to be HA2. This is going to be data link. Okay. Just to verify. HA2. Yeah, I got it right over there. Okay. Let's go here. HA2. Backup link. Let's go here. Click OK. Now we go to our settings, our controlling settings. This is going to be 1.1.1.2, 255.255.255.0. This is going to be 4.2.2.2.2. 0. Click OK. And we're just going to select the interfaces here as we did in our previous setup. 1.6. Okay. Link path monitoring enabled. Path monitoring enabled. We'll create a link path group, control link group, and data link group. Control link group. We'll add 1.3.4. Create the data link group. 1.5.1.6. we're going to create our path group. We're going to join it to our virtual router. And we're going to name this Google Path. We're going to add 8.8.8.8. Click OK. Click OK again. There's no cluster info. Click Commit. Okay. Jump back over here to our dashboard. We'll see high availability. The widget is working, but it shows this firewall is active. That's good. HA1 down as it should be. HA2 up. Backups up. We'll jump over here. We're going to add that same widget. High availability. Yeah. And you guys will see this come up here shortly. And let's see how we're doing. Yep, so it's getting there. You'll see this populate as well. Initializing shows that the active firewall is 2023, which is the first firewall. It's our first firewall here. And here we go. Local's active. This local is going to be passive. Now, guys, all we have to do is sync to peer, right? Which is going to sync our configurations. Okay. So let's do a sync. Anytime you see all green, that's good. All right. So you want all green. Obviously, passive is going to be yellow. And once this turns green, we'll know that our HA config is complete. Then we'll test it. Once this synchronization is complete, we'll validate it. We'll ping the gateway, and traffic should flow through the firewalls easily. Okay. Jump back over. Synchronization is complete. Sync in progress. Let's verify that just in case. One peer address. Yep. Device priorities set correctly. Yep. 1.3. I'm sorry. 1.2.2.2. Yep. Yep. That looks good. A-link group. Yep. So it looks good. Synchronized. Here we go. Guys, see how that changed? Yep. Synchronized. Good to go. Passive. Interesting. So there we go. Okay. So yep, this is our local active, right? It's firewall 2, local passive, right? And it just says .23 is our active firewall. Okay, so let's validate um, everything's working correctly. First things first, let's ping out. Okay, ping's working, no big deal. Let's clear that out. Now, let's validate that the priorities are correct and that that preemptive is set correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to operational commands and high availability. I'm going to suspend this firewall altogether. Okay. I'm going to suspend this firewall. I'm gonna go here and you can see it is suspended. I want to make sure this firewall kicks in. Yes. So this firewall takes over as the active firewall, which is exactly what it's supposed to do in production. Okay. So now this firewall went from the secondary firewall to the passive firewall to the active firewall, right? And so preemptive, when we set preemptive, when I when I when I unsuspend the primary firewall, this is the secondary firewall is the active one now, right? But when I unsuspend the primary firewall, this this second firewall is now the active, but preemptive makes it so that when this firewall fires back up, it takes back over as the active firewall. So right now you'll see that it's the passive firewall. Okay, so you see that it's passive. But if we wait here a minute, I believe the timer is set to a minute. You will see that this goes from passive. This will go from active to passive, and this one will go from passive to active. So give it a second here. See how I switched from passive to active, and this one is going to switch from active to passive. So preemptive is working. Now let's test. Let's test path monitoring. So we're going to spin these two links. Okay. Go to the user, ping Google, which we won't be able to because we've taken these links down. And let's see what kind of error we get. Okay, it's not working. Here we go. Now we're getting a message path down. So that is where we configured our path monitoring group here. Ping count is going to be 10. So it's monitoring whether we're still able to connect, whether our path is still up um, to our defined path. So path down. So path monitoring is working. Okay. Now let's test link monitoring. So we're going to spin this link, suspend this link. And as we can see, HA1, which is the link that I took down, is down. Okay. You'll see this eventually that the link path will go back up, but HA1 is down. You'll see here that's initializing. So that's for the path monitoring. This is for the link monitoring. Okay. So we'll see this go back up. Because that's pinging, so it's working. But we'll see this go back up here shortly. So path monitoring is working, link path link link monitoring is working, and preemptive is working. So I think that's pretty much it. If you're working towards becoming a strong network security engineer, well, before I end this video, let's do this. Let's re-enable this link, and let's watch it turn green and happy again. HA1 is back up. Still saying that the link is down, but it is not because we can see here that is good to go. Here we go. Now it's back. Just took a little while. All right, guys. So if you're working towards becoming a strong network security engineer, understand that HA is non-negotiable. If this lab helped you, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.